Hi, this is the Blackberry Prepper, and as promised, Quiet Stove has got us our Quiet Stove attachments for the Dragonfly, MSR Dragonfly stoves. I am super excited, okay? I was talking to the owner of, Quiet Stove for several hours. I mean, maybe about an hour. And we talked, and I asked him all kinds of questions because I wanted to see, I'd see all kinds of crazy videos out there on whether they're better or they're worse. They do cool things. The biggest thing is, do they quiet it down? Yes, they do. Okay? I've already tried these, but I wanted to show you guys the same idea that we have here. Now, one thing I want to try while we're on screen here is we're going to do a boil test from a regular Dragonfly to a Quiet Stove Dragonfly. Okay? We're going to go over some of the pros and cons here in a minute, but I wanted to do that. Now, this is the Quiet Stove. Okay? It is super easy to install. It is a part, it tells you right where it is, what it's from. It says quietstove.com, made here in America. This is a great product, a very heavy duty, nice quality product. Just under 2 ounces, about 1.7 ounces is what I come up with. You guys can come up with all different kinds of ideas. And it has an arrow. You will take your flame spreader plate, you'll pop out your flame spreader, you'll set this guy in with the arrow facing towards the adjustment knob, and you'll set it in. Now, everybody goes, oh no, it's going to fall right out. It doesn't fall out after you've heated it up once. And it's possible to pop it back out. If you twist it hard enough, it will pop back out, so you can change your jet if you need to. So I wanted to kind of show this one. This one's one that's been used. Awesome customer service. I left him a message. He called me right back within that same day. I ordered them beginning of the week. They were here. So he sent them on Monday. They're here today, which is Friday. And it had perfect tracking the whole time, multiple emails. Can't say enough about the service from Quiet Stove. It has a lifetime warranty. Now, there is some other companies out there that are making these. I'll tell you right now, you can't get a hold of the owner. You can't get a hold, there's no warranty on them. If they have a problem, you're done. If you have a problem with these, you just send it back, he sends you a new one. Lifetime warranty. And I'll tell you truthfully, I don't see that I'm going to have any problems with these ever because of where they're made. They're nickel plated, they're stainless steel insides. Truthfully, just a great product. Very impressed. They do work with both kerosene and white gas. From what I understand, and I could be wrong, if you can correct me on this if you need to, they don't work as well with automotive gas, diesel, and jet fuel. So that is what I've heard, is that they're for kerosene and white gas. I would kind of stick to that. Here in America, that's all you really should be using anyways. So I always keep my spreader plates in the bag, so that if I need to, I can pop this off, and for some odd reason I need to run gasoline or anything else, I'll put the spreader plate back on and let the sound crank back up again. So this is the product. Pop it on, heat it up once, it sticks into place, and we'll kind of go over some of the other things here. Now, the lighting procedure is different, and we're going to go through both the procedures on both these stoves. I have made it as scientifically as I can. What we're going to do is I've sat there and I have the 2 fuel bottles are filled to the exact same amount of white gas. I have pumped them to exactly 35 pumps as best as I can to get them as close as I can to perfect. We're using 2 of the exact same GSI pots. We're using water out of the tap at the same temperature because it's all going to be the same idea here. Okay? So it's scientific as I can get it. We're going to use a measuring cup. Is this perfect? No. But we're going to measure the decimals here. But lighting them, you all know how to light the Dragonfly. Basically, you're going to let it. You're going to turn it on for 2 seconds. You're going to turn it off, light it, let it burn all the way almost out, and then turn it on. Now the difference is with a Quiet Stove, you are going to turn it on for 3 seconds. That's one thing I've noticed, that is it helps to run a little bit more fuel in there, prime it a little hotter, and let that cap heat up a little bit better, and you get a better burn out of that, so it gets going a little quicker. Once the flame is completely gone out, we do not want to light it, because what ends up happening is that you can actually have the flame underneath the burner instead of on top. Okay? So we want to make sure the flame's coming out the sides, not out of the top, not from underneath, because you can actually, from what I heard, melt the top. And now that's not from the manufacturer, that's from another video, but it made sense to me that you can basically have a blowtorch type situation in there. They do close. We'll go over kind of some of those things here, but let's go ahead and get them lit. So we're going to go ahead and turn on. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get this guy lit. Okay, I use my IMCO spark lights. I really love these guys. We're going to let this one go for 3 seconds. Okay, I love these because we can go ahead and we don't have to worry about, you know, lighters going dead or anything else like that. Now once these fire up, we're going to go ahead and warm them both up, and then we're going to let them set, and we're going to check the decimal rating. Now, is my decimal rating perfect? No, I'm going to use it on my phone. It's an app you can get for free. I like the app. It's kind of a cool idea. So once we let, like I said, we're going to let this one burn completely out. And then we're going to go ahead and fire up our stove. We're not going to do any pumping past this point. It's got 35 pumps, as good as it's going to get. Now that is the nice thing with the original Dragonfly, is that I don't have to wait for it to completely burn out, and it is a lot quicker lighting. But as you're going to be able to hear, it is incredibly loud, and it's a huge pain. One of the biggest problems I've had is that I've ran them when I'm up in the snow. I have multiple stoves, and it is much louder than my Whisper lights. It's much louder than my Snow Peak stoves. But it has the best stability, it has the best simmering, everything else. Now we're also going to test some of the simmering capabilities, because this one tends to simmer a little better, actually, in my opinion. So we're going to wait for this one to go completely out, and then we're going to relight it. And we do have to wait for it to completely go out. Okay, now I don't know if you guys can hear, but that is incredibly quiet. We're going to let them both warm up to full blast. And you do have to wait for the cap to get really nice and warm before it completely solids up. As we're doing that, we're going to go ahead and put our water in our pans. Like I said, it is tap water. We're using the similar pots, and we're going to use 2 cups of water, as close as I can get it based off this. Now, as I've said, boil times are irrelevant. You know, they're not really important to me. It's more that I get a faster boil or a slower boil based on the 2 different stoves. Okay. Now what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to turn off the both of them and get full heat, because I'm able to turn them up. There's no chattering, no chuffing. So I'm going to go ahead and turn them off. I'm going to turn off this guy second. We're going to go ahead and measure this one first, and then we'll fire back up the quiet stove and see if it works better. Okay? Using our decimal rater. luckily now we can turn that down. So we're going to go ahead and pause and reset here. Let's get this guy fired up. What we got was and as you can tell, this is a much quieter stove now. I mean, massively quieter. In my opinion, it's not as quiet, and with the decimal readings we were getting, it's not as quiet as the Whisper Light. But the Whisper Light doesn't simmer. I don't care what anybody says, it is not a simmerable stove. It's not meant for cooking anything but boiling water, in my opinion. So let's embrace the fact that we may want to have a great stove here. So I'm going to let it warm up a little bit and get up to full rating, but we had an average of 78 decibels and a max of 80. So that's quite a little bit. Remember, we were getting in the 60 range with our Whisper Light on our last one. So I'm going to go ahead, this one's now completely turned up. And I'm going to let it warm up completely just to make sure we're getting no problems. And let's get a reading here. I'm trying to put it in the same spot. Okay, so what we've got, guys, is we came up with a 66 average and a 68 max, which, if you know anything about the decibel rating, is a massive difference. Even though we're not talking about 10 decibels, we're actually taking and basically cutting the volume in half. And I'll tell you right now, it is extremely quieter. I could run 2 of these all day long without any problems. Now let's get into our boil test. Our times here, so let's fire up the other stove here. Get them warmed up to full blast. Then we'll go ahead and set our stoves on there and do a boil time test. We're going to try to set them on at the same time. Let it come to a complete go in here. So let's see what happens. They both seem to be right at the temperature. Now last time with the Whisper Light, we were getting in times about 2 minutes 40 seconds, and we were getting times with our dragonflies right around the area of 3 minutes, a little over 3 minutes, okay? So we'll see what happens here. I don't know if you guys can hear, we've got the train behind us going. We are in town right at my house. We're right at a minute at this point. I'm starting to see bubbling on both. Right at a minute and 30 seconds. minutes and 40 seconds. We're starting to see some bubbling. Right at 3 minutes, we're at a full boil here. And we're a little bit behind here. It looks like we're going to be a little bit slower with the with this stove here. Now what I'm going to try to do here in just a second is we're going to pump these up again and pump them the same amount of time and see if we can get a little bit hotter burn out of it right off the bat here. So we're at a rolling boil now, about 3 minutes 30 seconds. So right now at this point, about 30 seconds slower. So I'm gonna go ahead and crank her down. And let her roll down here. We're gonna go ahead and pump the stoves. Go ahead and redo our boil times one more time while we're talking here. And see, we're gonna switch the pots onto the other stove. Give each one of them 10 more pumps. Okay, gonna go ahead and light her up. Go ahead and fill our pots up one more time. We'll do a little faster one this time. We'll do 1 cup of water. And then we'll switch the pots and see what our times are there. Okay, let's crank them all the way up to full blast and see where we're at.